Okay, so this is part 2 of our little video, right? And I showed you how you could create a paper. And you see here that there are 2 boxes. There's one that says staff papers and then one that says created papers. If you create a paper, you can go look for articles that you want to add to your paper. Now, what you can also do is become an editor of another existing paper, like our Independent Learner Journal, and then at that point, you can go add articles there, and then if you're the publisher, you can decide which ones get published, or if somebody else is the publisher, they can decide what gets published. But let me just show you that process, because this is the process that people who have papers go through to decide whether they want to include your article as well. So let's just take the paper I just created, my awesome new paper, and I'm going to click Look for Articles to Add. What that does is it takes me to this big old list of articles. And I'm going to try to make this a little bit easier so people can review the articles more quickly. But this is just an example, okay? So let's take a look here. This is an article that somebody wrote. We're about to find out what they wrote, or who wrote it. I click on it, and what it does is it shows me the article, okay? And you can see that this is by Misty, age 12, an Academy student, and I have an option here to add to the paper. Now, it knows right now that I'm my awesome new paper. This is not yet, Misty's article about the 2014-2015 is not part of my paper yet, but I can make it part of my paper by clicking Add to the Paper. Now, what does that mean? It makes a copy of Misty's article and it adds it to my paper, and then I can decide where I want it to show up. I can edit it, right? Let's say that I know this wouldn't be Misty, but let's say that I go through and I see that there are some typos, or there's some stuff in there I want to clean it up a little bit. Well, I can either say to Misty, hey, listen, get this article a little bit further along, so I want to publish it, or I can say, you know what, it's minor stuff, let me just add it to my paper. And what I've just done is I've added it to the paper, and then I can decide how do I want it to show up, okay? And I'm going to work on this over the next couple days to try to make it a little bit easier to use, but if you want to get moving, you can get moving. So what I can do is I can add it to an issue, right? So let's say I'm going to add it to issue number 1. I'm going to add it to the front page, column 1. I'm going to add it front page order 1 and headline only, okay? So now you have a bunch of options. You can see here I can do headline only, I can do the full article, I can do article, excerpt, and summary, and I'll show you that in a little bit. And then these are things where if I want it to show up under categories, but we'll do that as a separate video. So let's just say headline only, submit. All right, so you see here, it doesn't show up, but that's only because I have these 2 articles, or 2 issues. So that's where I kind of have to fool it. And so if I go back to issue number 1, there it is, all right? So that's why it's a little bit of a bug, because it looks like I'm on issue number 1, but I'm really on, it doesn't know what issue I'm on. And then I can click here, and I see the article. Now this is, remember, a copy of Misty's article. If I go back, if I make a change right now, I'm editing my copy of Misty's article, which I'm going to do here. The Pittsburgh Steelers won the Super Bowl. That's a better ending to the Super Bowl. And I'm going to call that fantasy season, okay? So you see here, I submit it. Let's see, show section. I can't remember what that is. Okay, so this is where if I want to, I think it changed it. What did I just do? Okay, I don't remember what that was, so let me go back. Sorry. There's still some bugs in the system, but I'm going to edit it. I'm going to say the Pittsburgh Steelers won the Super Bowl, and I'm going to call that fantasy, right? Now, it still remembers that this is Misty's article, and it still remembers that it's connected to that master article. So then when she gets sort of credit, like when people read the article, it sort of collects hits for her as well. So I'm going to click submit. And now, I think this takes me back to my paper. So you see here, if I go back to issue number 1, it has this article. Now it still credits her and all that stuff, and you'll have to decide, I mean, she gets to decide too. One other thing I'll show you is you do, and I'll just give you a quick overview and then I'll do videos for each of these. You do have the ability to add images. You can put an image link here that will then show up. I'll use something else that I used on another article, and I'll put image link. And then I can also decide, let's say I don't want to just show the headline, but I want to show like a summary of the article. And I'll say, and I can, this basically captures right here like the first whatever 500 characters of it. So I can do that, or I can create my own. And usually it's a better idea to create your own, because if you create that and she has some code in here, like you see that Misty has some code, if you miss one piece of code, it's going to screw up your whole article, and in fact your whole paper. So you want to be careful about that. So I'm just going to say an alternative history of the 2014 NFL season, right? And I say that I want to show article summary, and I want that to, I'm going to change it now to be in column 2 instead, and I click submit. And now, again, I'm on issue. Remember, it says issue 1, but it's not really, so I have to switch over and go back to issue number 1. That'll probably be fixed soon. And you see it's here, and then if I click on it, it adds that video. It, makes it a little different. Okay, so that is how you do it. Now, if you recall, it's not. It says that it wasn't. The status of the article was draft. I don't know if that's actually going to keep track of it or not. It may. So you just publish it. No big deal. Okay, so if you want to add a paper. Create a paper, and then you want to add articles to it, that's a first step. And I'm going to try to clean this up to make it a little easier to use, all right? And then all you have to do is, if you want to give somebody the link to your paper, you go to your home, and your paper is available right here, My Awesome New Paper. You can just click on it, and it will take you to the link. And you can't really see it. Let me see if I can get that a little higher. So it's O'Leary Academy, and this is the link that takes people directly to your paper. And you can decide what issue shows up, so that will be fixed. But remember, this is what it will look like here. You don't have to put the issue number, because you'll determine what is the official issue of your paper, right? So that's a way to get started, and I'll be adding videos about how to do that, okay?